Welcome back to our daily foam rolling and mobility series with me, Harry. We're going to be doing some work on our feet today, some hips, a bit of glutes, and general movement, which is so important for us all to do on a daily basis. So let's not waste any time and get stuck in. We're going to start off by stretching the plantar fascia and the muscles at the soles of our feet. So we're going to start just using our foam roller as a balancing point, and we're going to drop down. Our knees want to stay just off the floor, but what we're doing here, by getting the weight over and the toes stretching, it's just stretching those muscles and plantar fascia that get tight very often because we all wear nice comfy shoes. Some of these muscles can get a little bit weak, so it's nice just to give them a bit of TLC. So we're just going to rock, keep those knees off. If this is getting sore on the knees, then by all means you can just stand up and use the foam roller to roll out the soles of your foot. But I quite like this one. It's a great big toe mobilization as well as a nice stretch. And what we're going to do, we're now going to move on to strengthening. So we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. We're going to roll forwards in this position here, so knees a little bit higher. And we're going to squeeze our toes, push down and just lift ever so gently off the floor. And you should really feel that in the muscles of the sole of the foot. It's quite hard. We don't work these muscles out very often, so you don't have to do too many before you start feeling it. And then drop back, let them rest for a minute, come forwards and lift gently, lift. Oh, brilliant. You don't have to do too many of those before you can feel it in the feet, but it's really nice, especially if you're a runner, if you're a walker, having strong feet and foot muscles, so important to help biomechanics and performance. Let's put the foam roller to one side for a moment. We're going to walk up. We're going to do some mobilization of our hips. So nice sort of tabletop position where our hands are beneath our shoulders. We're going to start by rotating up and around with the hip. So you're trying to just feel that whole range of movement, cocking your leg a little bit like a dog. Not the most flattering, but a really useful mobilization. And go the other way. And let's switch sides. You don't need to turn around, but I'll turn around so you can see me. We're going to go clockwise. So don't be surprised if you can hear a fairly regular clunk or click as you're rotating your hip up and out. Very common. Usually it's just our hip flexor tendon catching over some of the knobbly bones. Great, and then other way. Perfect, come down. Let's just stretch out for a second, rock back onto your heels. Come back up. Now, if your wrists are okay in this position, excellent. What we're going to do, we're going to bring them a fraction closer to us. If they get a bit sore from the weight of being extended, come onto your knuckles so they're in a bit more of a neutral position. If this is okay, then great. And all we're going to do, start circulating our weight over those wrists to mobilize them. If you need to, come onto your knuckles like we said. Great. Let's go forwards and back if we can. So just drive your shoulders over your wrists a little bit. Brilliant. Let's come up. Sitting or standing, doesn't matter. Let's start by getting some movement through these forearm muscles. So start with a bent elbow, palm facing up. Hold onto the fingers, keep them down, and straighten. Let's just do that a few more times. Great. Opposite now. So palm facing down. Stretch it out. Should feel this coming along the top of your forearm. All these muscles that go down the wrist. Let's do the same on the other side. So palm facing up. Bend the elbow. Stretch and straighten. I don't tend to hold these ones for too long. I tend to just ease it in and out. Brilliant. Same again, palm facing down this time. Great. And loosen it off. Grab your foam roller. Let's get into those deep muscles of our glutes. So we're going to sit with one cheek on the central prongs. I'm going to cross that leg over the other side. And we're going to roll through here, using those central prongs to get in between your sacrum and your ischial tuberosity, which is like part of your pelvis. This will sink straight through in between to get to that deep piriformis muscle, hit some of your obturator muscles, which often get very tight. Useful for anyone that gets a little bit of sciatic radiation down into the back of the leg, depending on the cause of it. And just shift your weight to one side or another, just to mix it up. Great, and then let's switch sides. So, other cheek on the central prongs, cross that leg over, and roll through there. If you want to make it harder, like we've spoken about before, you can pull that knee across your chest to get a really big stretch, and then you can also get into it with the foam roller, which is very nice. But just go, as always, go to your level. It's bound to be a bit uncomfortable. That's absolutely fine. If it's agony, you're going too far. Great. Let's just ease it off to finish. Both cheeks on top. Just a gentle roll. Brilliant. We're going to put the foam roller in front of us. So we're going to do some work on strengthening our hamstrings, okay? So we're going to have our feet on the grooves or the middle humps of the foam roller. We're going to flatten our low back a fraction, squeeze our glutes so they're off the floor, and we're going to roll out and in. So this is a really good one using these hamstrings. We want them to be strong but pliable. One more. Great. Come up. Hamstrings on the outer grooves. And let's just loosen them off after we've worked them. So this should be fairly gentle. Brilliant. Let's do another set. So get your feet on the start fairly close, so there's a fairly good bend in your knees. Gently suck your pelvis up, you switch on your lower abdominal muscles, flatten out your low back, lift that pelvis flexion off, and then roll out and in. Last one. Great. Come back. We're going to do our hamstrings again. This time we're going to use the central prongs to get a little bit deeper. Turn that foot in and out. So I always really like, when you've been doing a strengthening exercise, that's nearly always shortening a muscle. So once you've done some work like that, where we're sort of curling the foam roller towards us, we're using those hamstrings in a shortened position, and then we're going to loosen them out to make sure they don't get too tight. Great, let's do the other side. Turning that foot again. Nice, slow and controlled. Great. Come back up. We're going to come and kneel high now. So, our quadriceps are the muscles at the front of the thigh. They encapsulate our patellar tendon and our patellar bone. So, what we want to do is keep these muscles strong, but we're actually going to work them as they're getting longer. This is really good for anyone that suffers with patellar tendinopathy or irritation sort of just below the kneecap. Great for anyone that does a lot of downhill running or racing, because it really helps to stabilize the tendon, build the strength and the elasticity of the muscle. So we're going to start high and we're going to rock back. So we're using our quads to control this movement, but they're also getting longer. As we get to our end range, we collapse, come back up and drop down. Now, if you need a pillow or anything underneath your knees, that's absolutely fine. If you've got knobbly knees like me, this can be a bit sore. Couple more. Brilliant. Last one. Try and not collapse for as long as you can. Should feel these muscles here working. And relax. Let's balance that out with a little bit of foam rolling. So let's start gentle. Both legs in the grooves of the foam roller. Nice and slow. Straight legs to begin with. Great. Let's bend those knees up to get a bit more of a stretch through those quads. Brilliant. Let's do a little bit of work on our mid-back, which is where so many of us get tight and stiff. So, as usual, hands, thumbs on the central prongs of the foam roller. Line your spine up in the groove, just at the sort of your lower rib cage level. cross your arms over. Oh, that was a nice pop. And rock through here. Now, if you need to, by all means, you can support your head with your hands. But personally, I quite like putting my arms over my chest. Separates the shoulder blades and allows me to really get into those muscles either side of the spine. As you go high towards your neck, just lift that pelvis, maintain that pressure. As you drop down, drop the pelvis a little bit. Oh. Brilliant. And let's finish off with my favourite, the parasympathetic suboccipital release. As usual, you must all know this by now. Foam roller at the base of the spine, central prongs targeting the suboccipital muscles. Drop your chin down and relax. So I'm just going to drop my chin, and this time I'm just going to place a little bit of pressure sort of backwards through the neck, just so I can really feel those central prongs getting into those suboccipital muscles. If the foam roller is not in quite the right position, don't be afraid to stop and just rearrange. As usual, nice and slowly kind of sit up. I hope you find that useful. Hope you moved a little bit more than you did yesterday, and we'll see you next time.